All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Monday morning. Welcome aboard a complimentary week of live trading and training here at Top Gun Options. Industry leading, folks. Nobody else does this. Nobody else has the guts or the performance. I open up the doors to our regular member briefs to the public so you can come check out our trading squadron. Where's all the panicins? Where's all the liberals and the media back in March and April that Trump's going to kill us all, the market's going to implode, and where are they? The S&P 500 is at 6330. 6330, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any better than that, man. So we're going to have a blast this week. Let me just review the flight schedule for all the new folks. And you're joining a regular Top Gun Options brief. This is our normal solo Amazon brief, it's called. Every Monday at 10 a.m. I'm going to dig into that, why it's the only stock you need to own. We're going to cover a couple trades on Amazon. I have a couple trades right now that are printing money as we get ready for Q2 earnings. So that's today. Solo Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, is not part of what we call Full Throttle. It's its own standalone service. I call it a gateway drug. It's a gateway drug to check out what we do here at Top Gun Options. Do you have trials? Yeah, you're in a trial. You get 4 free days of trading this week. And then the next trial would kind of be solo Amazon. It's only $97 a month. So if you want to continue to check out what we do, it's the price of a really bad bottle of wine. Okay. So Tuesday, we'll start technically full throttle training with our primary live trade brief, it's called. I'm going to cover a bullish on America trade. A potential new one, and the one that I covered 2 months ago that's up a couple 100%, maybe even over $10,000-$15,000 for some of our members. We're going to cover that trade tomorrow. It's a long-term bullish trade into the future if you believe, like I do, that the S&P 500 moves up and to the right over time. It absolutely does. Do we get freakouts? Do we get pullbacks? Yep. And every one of those in my lifetime, actually in everybody's lifetime of markets, they've been buying opportunities. So if you panicked and you listened to the liberals and the Democrats and the media who was hoping that the market would implode and the economy would tank, and you sold everything, you're a fool. Maybe now showing up here, you'll learn that you don't sell high and, buy low, sell high, right? Okay. Wednesday, I'm going to do synthetic stock training. It's called Accelerated Retirement. That's every Wednesday at 10 a.m. And we're going to take a look at psychedelics, the space that's exploding. Did you see a tie last week? Everything that's going on in the psychedelic space is absolutely insane. I'm going to talk about some potential private investments that a bunch of TGO members are in. Another value of membership here at Top Gun Options is getting exclusive offers into biopharma psychedelic companies, into REITs, real estate investment trusts. So a lot of good stuff going on in that. And then Thursday, I'm going to do a special. I'm going to talk through S&P 500 sniper shots. Exactly. MindMed's ripping. All the psychedelic names are ripping. If you miss anything, don't worry about it. I'd love for you to attend live. If you can't attend live, I'll give you the replay page. So all the replays are going to be posted on this page right here. It's easy to remember. go.topgunoptions.com/FT-replay. That's where all the replays are going to be posted. This is obviously from the last one. Don't go watch it right now. You're supposed to be in this brief listening to me. So don't. And then obviously how to join's on that page as well. Okay. So that's the replay page. You don't have to join me every day this week. Don't worry about it. I got your 6 covered with the replay page. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm going to talk literally about the only stock you have to own, and you have to own it today. And we're going to cover a couple trades today, because you've never heard what I'm about to tell you. As a matter of fact, you've heard the exact opposite, right? And we're going to dig into that. I call this stock the Death Star. I have kids. They were Star Wars nerds. I'm going to age myself. Star Wars came out when I was a teenager, right? Everybody knows what the Death Star is, right? This moon-sized space station that took over the universe, right? I think that's physically impossible, but at least a little portion of the universe. It destroyed everything it touches, and it just got bigger. It got attacked a couple times. Remember that. This got attacked a couple times, blown up, rebuilt. It gets bigger and stronger. That's this stock. What's this have to do with Star Wars and stocks? You're going to get it in a second. Now, most of you guys know me, Matthew Buckley, Wiz, fighter pilot, still flying L-39 fighter jet in Albatross out in Colorado. So I'm going to start with a little fighter aviation question. Which fighter aircraft would you rather fly? And you don't have to know anything about fighter aviation to give me an answer. That's going to be your first choice. That's choice A. And we are old enough, or some people are old enough, Goose is old enough, that he flew this aircraft. It's the F-4 Phantom. Take a look at that cockpit. Going into combat, would you want this aircraft? There's over 300 switches and dials in that cockpit. Looking at it just gives me agita. My heart's racing right now looking at all that crap. Look at all these steam gauges. The pilot would spend a lot of what we call heads down time in the cockpit instead of eyeballs out looking at AAA, enemy aircraft, SAM, surface air missiles. Very labor-intensive aircraft. Matter of fact, they threw another dude in the back just to run the radar and the radios. It was that labor-intensive, okay? Or would you rather fly this into combat? This thing just flew into Iran and was never seen and blew shit up. 2 flat panel displays. Does anybody see a single steam gauge in that cockpit? The answer is no. This is the F-35, the Lightning, the Joint Strike Fighter. It's invisible to radar. It's the Wonder Woman jet, right? And they have so many sensors on the aircraft that when the pilot actually looks down, they don't see the aircraft. They see underneath. They see all sorts of stuff. Talking about Star Wars, here's Darth Vader. Look at the helmet. Everything is projected on their visor. They look at something and want to shoot it, they can do it. They can look down through the jet and see through the jet. So obviously, ladies and gentlemen, in combat, you would want to fly this aircraft, the F-35. Ladies and gentlemen, trading is a form of combat. Think about that. It's a form of combat. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to get their ass handed to them. Which one do you want to be? Right? So why wouldn't you use the same procedures and methodology that I used over the skies of Iraq and on Wall Street to win? Right? Speaking of Wall Street, check this out. MindMed's above 10. Look at that, folks. Absolutely love it. How are your call options, folks? Everybody send me a Kwanzaa gift or make a donation to the foundation. You're welcome. I told you that was going to happen. So how's the smart money doing, ladies and gentlemen? Look at this. This is the past 5 years. These are hedge funds, right? You ever go to a cocktail party and people are like, oh, I'd love to be in a hedge fund. You would? You'd like to suck? 10%, negative 8, 9, 9, 7, 5. They're up 5%, the average hedge fund year to date. Are you insane? Last year, 150% return in my personal brokerage account. While the S&P was up 20, the NASDAQ, respectable 38, and the Dow was up 10. That's why you should listen to me. You should sit there and go, wow, I'm going to listen to this guy. All right, let's go ahead and get airborne. Yeah, we're going to talk about MindMed on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. MNMD. Go look at that stock right now. If you were here at Top Gun Options, you are physically printing money on the psychedelic stocks. If you know nothing about that, you didn't see the Fox News, Fox Nation report on Ibogaine. You haven't seen the Maha movement and R.F. Kennedy Jr., bullish on psychedelics. The Surgeon General, the new nominee, she said psychedelics help save her life. You are missing it, but you're not going to miss it. Look at that, 100% on the call options, Bruce. I absolutely love that. Good on you, my brother. I might buy some further dated ones. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. But good day for MindMed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and throttle up and get airborne. I'm going to give you some shocking news, or it's probably not going to be too shocking to many of you. Wall Street's lying to you. And you're probably all sitting there laughing, going, yeah, duh. Well, what specific lie? You can't put your eggs in one basket. Right? They've been telling you this for decades, right? Maybe even centuries. You have to diversify, right? How many times have you heard this, folks? Day one of investing school, you heard you have got to diversify. Diversification is important. The 5 steps, CNBC commercials, Fox Business commercials about diversification. It's an absolute lie. Whoa, who's lying to me, Wiz? That guy. Right? Anytime you hear the word broker, yacht, stock, airplane, real estate, delete that word and insert the word commission. These people want you in and out of as many names as possible. It's an industry practice called churn. Did you not see The Wolf of Wall Street or the movie Wall Street, right? Bud Fox. All right, fellas, we got the little old ladies in tennis shoes into this stock yesterday. Let's get them into this one. It's called churn. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. They print money when you get in and out of names. They want you diversified. They don't want you in one stock. They want you in a bunch and out of a bunch, right? And I'm a fighter pilot. I'm an options trader. I'm very direct. I don't have time not to be. Diversification is for idiots. It's for very stupid people. Now, if that offends you, you're probably not going to enjoy being a Top Gun Options member. But let me find an old man who's a little nicer than me, I guess, right? How about this guy? Diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who know what they're doing. That's a lot of words to say what I said. Diversification is for stupid people. So, ladies and gentlemen, you do not need to diversify. There was a recent hedge fund chief investment officer that said real wealth is not generated by diversification. It is built through concentration, right? Does everybody understand this? Some of you, I can see smoke coming out of your robot head, right? Like, does not compute. I was told I must diversify. It's a lie. You do not have to diversify if you own this stock, and it's Amazon, right? The Death Star, it is the only stock you need to own. It is diversified in and of itself, and we're going to dig into all of this, okay? Now, let me start with something that old Wiz would have thought was bad. Delete the word Amazon off this chart. And if you came to me when I started investing over 30 years ago and said, Wiz, look at this chart, would you buy this stock? I'd look at it. I didn't wear glasses then because I was younger and my eyes didn't suck, but I'd look at it and go, holy crap, look at the sales. This prints money. I've never seen anything like it, okay? Free cash flow. Okay, that's a big delta. That's a big difference between what they sell and their cash flow. And then I'd look at the red line, profit. And then I would laugh at whoever asked me if I would invest in this stock, and I'd say I'd short it. This stock's going to go broke. What a stupid CEO and company. And I'd be the idiot. I'm going to get political for a half a second. Democrats hate this chart, and they also hate Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Why? Because Jeff Bezos is brilliant. You know how he runs Amazon? If he makes $1, what's he do with the dollar? He puts it immediately back into the company to buy a competitor, to put somebody out of business, to innovate, to do all sorts of things. So he shows almost no profit. We're going to talk in a little bit about a tactic I'm going to show you. There is no such thing as a dividend with Amazon. Jeff Bezos actually laughs at the term. He's like, what a stupid concept. If Amazon's making money, I'm going to take that money and do something with it and grow the Death Star. Does everybody understand that? Good. Okay. Now, look at this chart. This is what we in the business call a hockey stick. Look at the growth in net revenue over 20 years. You have never seen another company that prints money like this one. It's physically impossible. It's the only company that has this type of annual net revenue growth, okay? Look at this picture. Annual revenue by segment. North America, international. And then look at the red. Back in 2010, there's a famous story of the current CEO, Andy Jassy. Remember, Jeff Bezos left to be like the chairman of Demetrius or something. Why? Because he got called in front of Congress at one time and he was beat to a pulp. And like the next earnings, it's like, I'm stepping back and Andy Jassy will be the CEO. So he can go get yelled at by Congress. Jeff Bezos still runs Amazon. But look at this. AWS, Amazon Web Services, didn't even exist back, 15 years ago. They came up with it in a condo. AWS, ladies and gentlemen, has essentially become Microsoft. They have their own Microsoft, ladies and gentlemen. And look at how much AWS is growing. Matter of fact, in earnings in about 2 or 3 weeks, that's what Everything else people care about, this part of their business, that part, how'd AWS do? So it's funny that I think E-Trade, most brokerage platforms label Amazon as like a consumer services company. I'm like, are you insane? It's a tech giant. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the next chart. Now, let me go back before I show you that chart. When you think of the word cloud, who owns the cloud? I'd probably go Microsoft. Apple's got like a big cloud thing. Okay. Who else? Microsoft, Apple, Google. Well, Google's a big tech giant. They have to own the cloud. All of those answers are wrong. Who owns the cloud? For the past 6 years, ladies and gentlemen, look at who owns the largest share of the cloud. Amazon. Silver medalist is Microsoft. The bronze is Google. Apple wasn't even on here. Alibaba. Or, ladies and gentlemen, Amazon owns the cloud. And you ready for this? Their share is growing. Now, how many of you trade NVIDIA, right? It's fun to trade. People print money on it. I love people when they make money. I love when my members make more money than I do, right? Look at those MindMed calls. I wish I had bought more of those things. Now, speaking of NVIDIA, it's a one-trick pony. Chips. Do they have NVIDIA Prime, like entertainment? No. Do they have NVIDIA Pharma, like no. Do they have NVIDIA Air, like FedEx? No. They just make chips. Okay. Keep putting all your eggs in that basket, folks. Why? Because you're going to get destroyed. This article, this headline is from December of 2024. You ready? Amazon announces supercomputer, new server powered by homegrown AI chips. Look at the subheadline. The company's mega cluster of chips for AI startup Anthropic will be among the world's largest, it said, and its new giant server will lower the cost of AI as it seeks to build an alternative to NVIDIA. You heard it here first. I guarantee you Jeff Bezos was looking at his monthly P&L document going, we're spending a lot of money on these NVIDIA chips. Yeah, we are, sir. We're going to build our own. They're going to be cheaper and they're going to be faster. Make it happen. And they're doing it. So be very, very careful, my NVIDIA Scientologists. I'm going to give you that article because it is a good read. Where is it? But right there. Share. I'm going to gift you a free link. Read this article for all my booger eater AI people. Okay. All right. So I love the fact that it is going to destroy NVIDIA. AI is going to kill all of us. That's a separate conversation. All right, let's press forward. A couple case studies real quick. JG, I don't know if you're in here. I took JG flying in my fighter jet. With a small account, trading Wiz's Amazon trades netted $8,900 in a week. Kristen, you guys are amazing. I trade a smaller account and have done 22 Amazon trades this year for a $31,000 profit. Christine, month-to-date profits on Amazon, 107 grand with more to go. Thanks, Wiz, for all your expertise and guidance, doing day trades with short calls to protect my Amazon profits, learning from the best. And then I'll never forget when Ann made me look like I was an idiot. In 3 days, I made 90 grand on short calls using against her 30 contracts utilizing Wiz's guidance. Now, obviously, that's a larger account, but look at these results. From small accounts to large accounts, we print money in our Amazon service. Now, Wiz, you're blowing sunshine, lollipops, and unicorns about just trading Amazon. Be a fighter pilot, be an options trader, and brief me on the risks. I will. Now, how many of you have heard of a small mom and pop company called Lehman Brothers? 150-year-old company gone in 48 hours. How about Bear Stearns? Everybody remember, Jim Cramer remembers Bear Stearns. He looked like Khrushchev at the UN, right? At the height of the financial crisis, that famous Jim Cramer clip. You're an idiot if you don't put your money in Bear Stearns. Bear Stearns is safe. I'm a buyer at Bear Stearns. A couple days later, it was at zero. Good call, Jim. How about Pets.com. How about Enron? I could spend the rest of our brief time together walking through the graveyard of stocks that have gone to zero. So the risk of trading one stock is what? Whiz, it goes to zero. But what's the common thread between these just four examples? They didn't own a thing. Enron didn't even own the building they were in. They were a middleman of electricity. I don't think they knew what they did. It was a scheme. Pets.com, a stinky sock, and a URL. Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns owned nothing. They didn't even own the sign, it looks like. Counterparty risk. They owned paper. The difference between these names and Amazon is what? Amazon owns things. Can the stock price go to zero? Technically, yeah. Can it be worthless? No. I did consulting years ago south of Miami International at an Amazon fulfillment center back in the day when they had a lot of humans in there. It was an aircraft carrier flight deck. Thousands of humans or hundreds, however many, racing around. They had some robots and vehicles back then. It was massive. Speaking of an aircraft carrier, that building was the size of an aircraft carrier. Okay? So look, they actually own stuff. They own property. Does everybody understand that, right? Okay. Let me tell a funny little story. I started flying for FedEx, hated flying at night, trying to sleep during the day. No, thank you. Went to American. My first and last day was 9/11. Separate story. Anyway, I still stayed pals with a bunch of my FedEx bros, and one of them became a trader. He put on a suit. He went to the corporate side and stopped flying. He called me one day. This was like 15 years ago. I don't even remember. It's been a while now, but he called me and he's like, hey man, a couple investing or business questions. Who's Jeff Bezos? I'm like, he owns Amazon. Why? What's up? I heard from a buddy at GE Aircraft Leasing that he's leasing 5 jets. And I said, he's going to do it. And my buddy's like, what? I said, he's going to put you out of business. And my buddy laughed at me and hung up. Guess who called him about 3 years ago and started laughing at him and then hung up? I did. Look at the headlines and the dates. September 7th, 2021. Amazon is now shipping cargo for outside customers in its latest move to compete with FedEx and UPS. Okay, September. November. Amazon is poised to pass UPS and FedEx to become the largest U.S. delivery service by early 2022. And finally, a year and a half ago, the biggest delivery business in the U.S. is no longer UPS or FedEx. It's Amazon, and the gap is growing. Did you read all of that with me? Why, ladies and gentlemen, would you own UPS stock or FedEx stock? How stupid could you have to be to own those things when Amazon is bigger than both of them? FedEx called Uncle and said, hey, can we do something again or partner? Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen. How about this? About 2 weeks ago, Fred Smith passed away. Fred Smith, great American, Marine officer in Vietnam, got a C on his Harvard business paper. FedEx, the instructor, it'll never work. Those who can't teach, especially at Harvard. So the guy got a C on his, project to start FedEx, and who got the last laugh? But here's what I'm talking about right now is it was innovative. I will get a package on the other side of the world in 24 hours. Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, you order a toothbrush, it could be at your front door in an hour. Holy crap. Amazon gets more fuel for AI race. I already told you it is taking over AI. Okay. Years ago, I told my Top Gun Options members about a couple bearish trades. I said Walgreens, CVS will cease to exist in the future. This was before they started locking all the crap up behind plastic and people would walk in and just steal shit and walk out. I said, pound CVS and Walgreens into the dirt. Amazon will destroy them. New Amazon clinics are in 50 states. CVS lays off 5,000 employees. This was 2 years ago. Walgreens plans major U.S. store closures. Wow. Walgreens stock tests lowest level in decades. Walgreens breakup nears. Who nailed it? I did. CVS conducts strategic review and breakup. And oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, I told you this was going to happen. I told you years ago, before Russia invaded Ukraine and drones are going to kill us all with AI and explosives on them. I said in the future, around now, you're going to get a text that says, go to your front door. You're going to open your door, a drone's going to scan your face, and a prescription's going to drop in your hand. Or you're going to get a text that says, go out to the blue van in your driveway. Here's your PIN. Enter your PIN on the side. The door is going to open and your box is going to come out. By the way, look at the truck now. It's not going to have a dude or a lady in the front. Why? Because they bitch, they complain, they want healthcare, they want to unionize, they need 401ks, they have to go take a leak. Gone. Now, again, I'm talking like Gordon Gekko. As Wiz, this is terrifying. Tens of thousands of Amazon employees, they're already doing it. Going to be gone. So as a human, I don't like any of this stuff, but if you want a friend, get a dog, right? I'm here to teach you how to make money. All right, let's keep talking about risks, though. Whoa, why is this guy on the screen? There is political risk with Amazon. First Trump presidency, first year of his presidency, he grabbed his phone one morning and said, Amazon is a big monopoly. Nobody does monopolies bigger than Amazon. Believe me, somebody should do something. What happened? The stock went down like, oh my God, the president just tweeted about Amazon being a monopoly. Stock went down a little bit. Then what happened? Nothing. 4 years later, in what would be his last year of his presidency, which he didn't expect, he grabbed his cell phone again. Jeff Bezos, now he owns the Washington Post, a horrible guy, a big monopoly. It's an even bigger monopoly. Somebody should do something about it. What happened that day? He tweeted that. The stock went up. So yes, and this guy, and Bezos, back in November after Trump won, he was one of the first guys up the street from me in South Florida to go to Mar-a-Lago and kiss the president's ring. So I got to brief you on threats. Tariffs. Did you see this article in the Wall Street Journal in April when everybody was panicking? April 18th, ladies and gentlemen, what did the Wall Street Journal say? Amazon is better prepared for the trade war than investors think. We're going to look at the stock. The people who I told you to add to your synthetic stock at 150, I expect a nice Christmas gift. So, ladies and gentlemen, the company's size and global reach give it muscles. So there are threats. There's political threats, there's tariff threats and trade war threats. The Death Star is powering through them. I get it. DOJ this, FTC that, antitrust this. But the good thing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is what? Amazon, I call Amazon Mercury right now. What does that mean? It's too late. It's too big to smash. So when you smash Mercury, it goes all over. If they smashed Amazon and tried to break it up, I'd buy everything they break up. Amazon Air is FedEx and UPS. Amazon Prime is Netflix, bigger than Netflix. Amazon Pharma, all their stuff. AWS is Microsoft. So it's too late. Even if they did, and last time I checked, Jeff Bezos, depending on the stock price, is the richest man in the world. He probably has 1 or 2 attorneys on staff. I'm old enough to remember Standard Oil, AT&T, Microsoft had some, and IBM. Anytime Uncle Sam comes and says, we're poking around your stuff, you might be in monopoly. On average, 5, 10, 15 years at the most, 5 the quickest. Let's just pick in the middle 10. It takes about 10 years for that type of investigation, litigation, everything to go in when they finally come out with a ruling like, we're going to break you up. And then, of course, it's going to go longer because it's going to the Supreme Court and shit like that. So I'm not doing my job as a fighter pilot, as an options instructor, if I don't brief you on the threats. Threats briefed. This was a great post years ago by James Woods. Just so everybody understands the game here, Lulu and these other national brands don't care about theft because A, it's in fact virtually worthless, and B, they would rather sell it online. No fuss, no muss, no employees. When you see stores locking up everything behind glass and forcing customers to select from a kiosk, it's a way to avoid excessive minimum wages to human workers and lawsuits from all the sales staff loonies who weren't addressed by their mythical pronouns. Invest in Amazon, folks. Pretty soon, it'll be the only marketplace left. Okay? So again, real quick, let me talk to you as Wiz. AI is going to kill all of us. It's going to put tens, millions of Americans out of work. We will see social unrest. Jeff Bezos does not pay his employees enough. He's replacing them with robots. It's an absolute horror. That's Wiz. Now, as Gordon Gekko, I love all of those things. As I said earlier, and as Gordon Gekko said in the movie Wall Street to Bud Fox, if you want a friend, get a dog. I'm going to teach you how to make money. Amazon prints money, and it will print money in a week and a half, 2 weeks on earnings. Okay? So if you got a conscience, go put your money in a Folgers can in the yard and maybe see how that does for you. Or you can be Gordon Gekko like me and print money. We talked about the risks. What are the benefits of trading just Amazon? Well, guess what? You're trading the same name and you're potentially going to profit no matter what direction Amazon moves, up, down, or sideways. Wait a minute. Wiz, I don't know anything about options. That's why you're here. I'm going to teach you. I can make money. I only make money 3 ways if I trade a stock, right? It's called the buy, hope, and pray. You buy the stock, you hope it goes up, and if it doesn't, you pray. Stupid. As an options trader, I can make money as the stock goes up. I can make money, yes, as the stock goes down. I can even make money as it moves sideways. If you're just trading the stock, you don't do any of that, okay? You stay focused on the news and events that impact Amazon instead of a bunch of stocks and ETFs. You become an expert in Amazon, reducing time spent on other positions. I love this example. When I moved from the Chicago Board of Trade, I helped run a multi-billion-dollar volatility arbitrage equity options trading firm up there in Chicago. I'm like, you know what? I can do this on my own. I'm going to teach people. And Chicago sucks, no offense. I'm a beach guy. I'm a Navy guy. I need sun, sand, and Lake Michigan don't cut it. Moved down here and became friends with a doc, orthopedic surgeon. And he's like, dude, I've been watching some of your stuff. I need help. I'm like, all right. We met at Starbucks over in Meisner Park. He booted up his laptop, showed it to me. Thank God he's a doctor because I think I passed out and had a heart attack. Why? When he showed me his brokerage account, I'm not shitting you, folks. He had 33 positions. I want that to sink in. I do this for a living, and I got max of 5. If you have more than 5 and you are not chained to your desk 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you're an idiot. There is no way you can manage 33 names. It's funny because he tried to, I'm like, after I got up from passing out, I'm like, what is this? He's like, well, I'm like, I'm staring at it. He points at the first name. He's like, I think that's a pot stock. I'm like, did you just say, I think? Well, I think it is. This one's a surgical stock. A buddy got me into it. It's down, 50% from where I bought it. But when it gets back to where I bought it, I'll dump it. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Doc, you're a doc, right? Yeah. You're supposed to have an average level of intelligence. What's the stock have to do from where it is today to get back up to where you bought it? And I'm like, just stop. I stopped him from briefing me on the rest of the names. I said, get out of all of this now and invest in Amazon. That guy still sends me a nice donation every year to the foundation. He's like, dude, because he's like, I got office hours, I got surgeries, I'm in between. Now you know why doctors are late coming in to see you because they're in the hallway looking at your cell phone trying to trade. This happened, and this was in 2010. This happened a couple months ago, and it makes me, it literally made me laugh out loud. You ready for this? Speaking to Jim Cramer. Look at what I saw. Here's a rapid fire update on all 33 portfolio stocks, including our 2 newest positions. This was in October of last year. You're paying Jim Cramer to be in his, quote, investment club. My daughter could take darts and throw it at the Wall Street Journal and do what these people are doing. 33 names in their investment portfolio. How stupid can you be? Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Simplify your trading cockpit with Amazon. Now, most of you, if you have a brain, are probably sitting there going, he's talking to me, right? I have way too many. I don't know how I keep track of all these. I don't know. So if the diversification vampire bit you in the neck, Wiz, I get it, but I have to diversify. It's just, it does not compute not to. Guess what? We also trade sometimes in this service, XLY. It's the consumer discretionary ETF. Everybody should know what an ETF is. Exchange traded fund. It's a basket of stocks. Take a look at what's in this ETF. Look at the number one holding in this ETF. About a quarter of this ETF is Amazon. Shrimp are a vehicle for eating cocktail sauce. The XLY is a vehicle for eating Amazon. But what else do you get with the XLY? Tesla, Home Depot, McDonald's, Lowe's, TJX, Booking, Starbucks, Nike, Chipotle. The skipper who left Starbucks went to Chipotle a couple days later for 114 million bucks in a private jet. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen is your diversification if you need it. Do you feel better? I don't. I just trade Amazon, but a lot of people say, oh, wow, this gives me a broader basket of names. So how do we target Amazon and XLY for max profit? Here's what I'm going to do right now. You're going to be a Marine. We're going to establish a beachhead, a base position years into the future, just like we're buying the stock. This tactic's going to be called synthetic stock. And look at in the parentheses, with protective puts. I never hopped in that F-18 at the top of that slide without an ejection seat. Like today, I'm awesome. I'm flying without an ejection seat. That's the day I would have died. Okay. After we establish this beachhead in a couple minutes, then we're going to trade what are called the front months. What's a front month? You're sitting in a front month. July, August, September. So we're going to have a long-term bullish position out into the future, and then we're going to trade the front month. Hey, the stock's going up. We have bullish spreads, or we can buy some calls. I've done both of these. I'll show you my personal account. Uh-oh, Amazon's going down a little bit. Who cares? We can make money as it goes down. Wiz, it's just moving sideways, getting ready for earnings in a couple weeks. You can trade a tactic called an iron condor. There's no such thing as an options strategy. Idiots use the term strategy in that sense. A strategy is saving for college, short-term income generation, buying a boat, managing risk. Those are strategies. Tactics support a strategy. If you ever hear somebody say option strategy, leave because they have no idea what they're talking about. Here we go. Sit up straight. If you've been clubbing in the Bahamas mentally for 37 minutes, sit up straight, and here we go. Amazon's ripping today, baby. I love it. Woo, 228. All right, so here's what we're going to do. And if you're sitting here going, Wiz, I don't even know what the hell an option is. I'm going to show you after we got doing our little trading here how you can join and do something called Options Weapons School. It's a building block approach, folks. This is the market. This is an option. And we take a building block approach. So might feel a little bit like you're drinking from a fire hose right now. Good. You should. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But just hang with me. So, Wiz, I love everything that you're saying. You should. I'd love to buy 100 shares of Amazon right now. Okay, great. Do you have 20, allow me to round up. Do you have $23,000? No. Okay, well, I wouldn't buy 100 shares of Amazon anyway. Buying stocks are for chumps. Here's what we're going to do, right? We are going to hop in a time machine. See at the top here, these are when the options expire. An option is a contract. It's got a price and a date. You ever do a house contract or anything like that? It's got the price and then a date when we're closing. That's all an option is. We're going to talk about options contracts and options weapons school. These are when they expire. we can go all the way out to December of 2027, couple years out into the future. Why am I doing that? Because I want to go as far out in time on Amazon and get bullish. So ladies and gentlemen, this is actually 879 days in the future. Remember, the average holding of an investor with a long stock position is like 18 months anyway, folks. So no reason to buy the stock unless you want to waste $23,000. So $23,000, or what's Amazon at right now? $228. That's the current price of Amazon, $228. Let's look at down here. These are called the strike prices, right? I said an options contract has a date, December of 2027, and it's got a price. So this is kind of close to 230. Let's look at the 230 strike right down here. Let's click on it. We could buy one options contract. One options contract, ladies and gentlemen, equals 100 shares of stock. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? If you buy a single December 27, 280 call, you are controlling 100 shares for that time period. Again, tell me why you would spend 23 grand when you could spend, say it with me, $5,200. What's the max potential loss in this trade? If Amazon between now and December of 2027 goes to zero, what's it say on your screen right there? What's the most you could lose? $5,200. What's the most you could lose if you bought 100 shares of Amazon for 23 grand and it went to zero? $23,000. Now, what are the odds of Amazon going to zero in the next, couple years? The odds of getting eaten by a golden retriever are never zero, but they are infinitesimally small, right? But I'm not done yet. Here's a quick little options training session. When you buy a call option, you're bullish. I'm buying that call option. I think Amazon's going up. There's somebody on the other side of this trade right now. I'm going to sell you that call option. I think it's going down. That's an idiot, but so a buyer of a call option is bullish. A seller, the person selling this to me, is bearish. Okay? That's a call option. A put option, somebody, if you're new to options, you've probably heard this. Oh, no, the market's going down. I'm going to buy some puts. Okay. So buying a put option means you're bearish. Uh-oh, something's going down. I should buy some puts. So a put buyer is bearish, but somebody has to sell them that put. A put seller is bullish. It's an insurance company, man. We're bringing in some premium because you're not going to crash. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell a single 230 put. Same price as the call, okay? So ladies and gentlemen, we went from buying 100 shares for $23,000. Dumb. Then I showed you just buy a call option for $5,200. Not so dumb. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for $1,700, you can be in what is called a synthetic stock position on Amazon. Would you rather spend 23 grand or 1,700 bucks? And clearly that's a rhetorical question, because if you'd rather spend the 23, you're an idiot. Ladies and gentlemen, on your screen right now is a tactic called synthetic stock. What's synthetic mean? You don't get two things that don't matter to Amazon because you don't own the shares. You don't get a dividend. I already told you 30 minutes ago, ain't no dividend in Amazon, folks. They ain't giving money back to you. They're building a bigger Death Star. So that doesn't matter. The other thing you don't get, since you don't own the shares, is to vote. I'm fairly certain your little 100 shares is a little less than Jeff and his ex-wife own. Your vote means nothing. So the two things you would not get, it doesn't matter anyway. So ladies and gentlemen, on your screen is a tactic called synthetic stock. Now, let's round up, $1,800 instead of 23 grand. What is the max potential loss? It's essentially the same, ladies and gentlemen, as if you bought the stock. And look, what's the probability for that happening, Wiz? It's Mr. Blutarski's GPA from Animal House, 0.0. Now, there's about 15 decimal points and a 1 out there. Amazon can go to 0. Will it? No. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy what we just covered a couple minutes ago, a protective put. The protective put does a couple things. The first thing it does is it's going to free up some margin in our account, right? The second thing it's going to do is protect the stock in case Amazon goes down. Now, I also sometimes call this a disaster put. Why? What's a disaster in the market? Well, Wiz, I heard when the S&P went down 19% under the trade war thing, it was close to being in a bear market. Close, it didn't enter a bear market. So don't let the liberal media tell you that. 20%. 20% is the rule of thumb in investing that something's in a bear market. The S&P goes down 20%, we're in a bear market. Amazon went down 20%, it would be in a bear market. So why don't we buy a put? I call it a protective put. 20% underneath this, right? What's that? 2250. Somebody, what's 225? What's that? 175? Somebody calculate the disaster put real quick. What's 20% below 227.82? Somebody do that real quick. I think it's close to 175. Let's just use 175 for now. I used to be able to do this math really well, but I'm old now. 184. Ben got it to the dollar. So let's look at buying a 185. There is no 184, obviously, put. Okay, does everybody understand that? 182, 184. Thank you. Okay. I'll do 180. Okay, right there. So now let's take a look at something. So the price of this trade went up a little bit to $3,200. But guess what? You don't need, in most margin accounts, I think you're going to need like $1,000 to do this trade, right? Does $23,000 sound better or $3,200? Okay. But my call sign's Wiz, not because I'm a wizard, but we'll pretend it is for that for now. You ready? The max potential loss in the synthetic stock was what a couple minutes ago? 24 grand. What is it now? 8. We went from risking, just like if we bought the stock with synthetic stock, look at what I just did. If Amazon goes to 0 in the next year and a half, 2 years, whatever that is, the people who own the stock are out 23 grand. What are you at? 8. And trust me, we're going to eject before that. Look at this trade, ladies and gentlemen. I love doing this brief because people are like, why would I ever buy a stock again in my life? You should never. We can talk Wednesday about some psychedelic names and stuff like that. But ladies and gentlemen, for something like Amazon, if you've been sitting there with your mouth watering, watching Amazon rip higher and like, man, I wish I could buy 100 shares. I just did. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not done yet. Now we can trade what is called the front month. Let's take a look at a shorter term chart of Amazon. And we do have earnings coming up when? In about a week and a half. Okay. Amazon tends to rise going into earnings now. I love my Chat GPT brief. Executive summary. Folks, we got Prime Day, 12.7 billion they brought in. High margin categories blew it out of the water. AWS is accelerating. I forgot about that. Advertising strength. When you think of advertising online, what do you think? Google Ads. Wrong. Amazon is the leader in the advertising space. Look at this. Ad revenue is expected to grow 25% year over year. It's a 50 billion run rate. Oh my God. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into my Amazon earnings predictions, but I think it's going to print money. Here's why I'm rambling through all this. You could just do this trade right now with 3,200 bucks. And again, if you have a margin account, you don't need a full 3,200 bucks to do that. I think it's a fraction of that. Okay. This is why we trade options. You can just sit on your hands. Wiz earnings are coming up. I think it's probably going to run in earnings, and we're getting a little bit of a gallop here from last week. Or you could put a little bit of a roof on it out to Friday. You could sell. Remember, when somebody sells you something, I'm going to sell a call option out to Friday. What's the stock at? 228. Maybe a 232.5 call. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember when I sell, not 10, sorry, it's stop. One contract. I'm doing all one contract, folks, right? What did I just do? Did anybody see what just happened? When I sell this call, I'm bringing in close to 100 bucks. I just lowered my cost basis. I could sell a weekly call against this name every week, and the trade will eventually pay for itself. And I'm not even talking about Amazon going up. Obviously, it makes money. If the stock just moves sideways, folks, we can keep selling calls and pay the 3,200 bucks off. The market will pay for you to be long-term bullish on Amazon. If you don't get this, don't sweat it. Options Weapon School Session 6 that you're going to get access to when you become a member today. It's an hour to an hour and a half brief just on this tactic. Okay. Now I'm going to grab a screenshot of this, and I'm going to show you how our alerting system works. We have an app at Top Gun Options. I used to do text alerts or so like 2015. We have an app, instantaneous alerts. Amazon, what's today's date? 7/21. So I'm taking a screenshot of that. Then I take a screenshot of this page, the risk page. Hang on. And I'm going to put this in an alert. Okay. Obviously, this is recorded. The replay goes up on the member page. It takes about 20, 30 minutes for the replay to render on my laptop. And then I put it on the member page. Okay. All right. So let's go over to our member site. I already have synthetic stocks, so I'm not going to do this trade today. And then I'm going to show you my other existing Amazon trades. So over to here, our ready room, you're going to get access to what is called our ready room. Oh, look at this Amazon Live. I want to brief you on this real quick. This is awesome. After pledging to keep prices low, Amazon hiked them on hundreds of essentials. This is today in the Wall Street Journal. I love it. All right, so the ready room is kind of where I post some intelligence, and all sorts of stuff like that. Over here on the top left, you see where it says Amazon Trade Alerts. That's where I post all the trade alerts. So new Amazon, what was that date? It's a Jan 27, right? The expiration. No, it's a Dece 27. Look at that. New Amazon Dece 27. Long-term bullish synthetic stock with protective put. Now I click at everyone, so it notifies everybody in the channel. In the background here, you can see the little 628 members. 628 members are about to get a trade alert from me. So I'm going to go post the image in here, the two images. Okay. On my desktop, there's the one image, the other image. Okay. Amazon Trade Alerts, there's the images, and then fire. Now, I also go give this to my most elite membership here at Top Gun Options, 213 members in our lifetime service. Amazon Dece 27. This is for new members joining us for the free week. I got to put text in here because I don't at everyone in this one because the lifetime members obviously have access to Amazon. I'm not going to double up alerts on their phone. So I just have to put some text in there. It doesn't let you just post the images. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, synthetic stock with a protective put, and we sold an upside call against it. But again, I'm going to warn you, Amazon has been tending to run up in the earnings a little bit. So maybe don't sell this call, just sit on your hands and enjoy the profit. Okay. I also have a couple other trades on with Amazon right now. This is my personal account right here. Okay. So where is it? I have a bull put spread on out to next week or a couple weeks through earnings. Okay. It's currently up. What's this up? Whoops. This is up 39%, about $400 right now. I also have what is called a burner trade out until January. Why? Because this name tends to, in the fall, rip higher. This is called a burner trade because look, it's like me and my F-18 going down the runway, max afterburner, get to the fence line, and I go straight up. It has unlimited profit potential. My max potential loss is $1,600. So if you want a free trade, take a screenshot of this as I talk through it. It's a bull put spread, which is a credit spread. I got paid to do it. And I took that credit and bought a 250 call. This is out to January of 2026, folks. Amazon, everybody at Top Gun Options should have a calendar alert that every October 1st says buy Amazon ? Why? Because October, November, December, Amazon tends to rip. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas rally. Why do I have a question mark? Well, because in 2018, when Jerome Powell in early October of 2018, started raising rates, the market imploded 20%. We were in a bear market through Christmas. So I didn't buy Amazon and get long that one. We actually pounded Amazon into the dirt along with the overall market. Okay. So those are my Amazon trades existing. And I have a synthetic stock. Where is it? Right here. That's just a little underwater. Why? Because mine was at the 225 strike. So I'm getting back to break even. I put this one on a couple months ago, I think. I forget when I put this one on, however old it is. A little underwater, but we are, I'm airborne. I love trading Amazon, ladies and gentlemen. And here's my personal account. Amazon, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Psychedelic, and the SIBO. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's that? 5? 5 names, as I told you. Okay. I need to get into some MindMed again. I got out of my MindMed. Let's look. Well, we'll talk about MindMed on Wednesday. MNMD. Ladies and gentlemen, 14% rip in MindMed. Look at that chart, folks. I told you, was the September call options? What were our call options? Yeah, it was the 8s. Folks, 2 months ago, I said buy these 8s. What were these at? Like a 50 cent? You're welcome. Unbelievable. We'll talk about that on Wednesday in our psychedelic stock training. AR, accelerated retirement, is what we're going to do on Wednesday, folks. Remember, this is solo Amazon, right? Solo Amazon is not part of Full Throttle, but I'm doing it today just so we're in a regular solo Amazon brief, okay? So let's tell you how you can join solo Amazon. Newest live trading service here at Top Gun Options. It's $970 for a year. I'm going to give you an intro rate of $97 a month. You're going to save money today if you do the annual. Makes no sense to do the monthly unless you still want to kick the tires a little bit more, okay? Essentially, you get 2 months included if you do the annual today, okay? Let me go give you the link to this. TopGunOptions.com. Let's go over to the website. I'm going to brief you everything that you get in our solo Amazon service. Trade groups, solo Amazon. Okay, again, $97 a month, folks. It's a crappy bottle of wine. Okay. That's awesome, Scott. Yeah, the Amazon burner trade is looking pretty good. Really happy with that. Folks, when you join today, you can go look on the member pages and get into all these existing trades. The burner trade out to January, folks. That's going to pay for my Christmas, I guarantee you, okay? All right, so there's the link to join. It's in the chat box. We're print money in our solo Amazon service. We're having an absolute blast. I do trade XLY a little bit, but mainly Amazon, okay? Parmar made 200 grand in Amazon on 20 call contracts. Kevin, Amazon, he was late to enter his synthetic stock. He got in. It's up 200%. He paid 8. It's at 24. Diane, up 70 with a single contract. Scott, hey, Wiz, up 20 grand in September and October. Amazon calls this week. I've never been there. Patience, persistence. Thanks, TGO. Wiz, from Dennis, update on my Amazon synthetic call expiration from solo Amazon. It's no longer up 100 grand for a single contract. It's now up 127. My. Wiz, I love this. I work every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Well, guess what? About 80% of TGO members work Monday morning at 10 a.m. That's why we have the app alerts. My phone just buzzed when I sent that alert. It took about a half a second. There it is. I just showed you what it looks like, but you have an app on your phone. You obviously have website access, but this thing, I trade from a chairlift. I can trade from the hold short in my fighter jet. I can trade from the beach. Thank God for all this new technology. That's going to kill us all. It's called Go Collab. When you join, you're going to get an email with your name and password that says, hey, go download this app. Okay. It's called Go Collab, right? This is what the Amazon Trade Alerts thread looks like over here. I just showed you what that looks like, posting the trades in there. We only post trades in here and trade related stuff. Over in the Ready Room, we have what's called intel and commentary. We can post stuff and articles, ask questions. So we kind of like to keep those two things separate. Trade alerts thread for trade alerts and intel and commentary for intel and commentary. Okay. The replay's posted, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes after brief. Chris said, I'm so geeked, been a subscriber for almost 3 years now, and this is the first time I've been able to attend live. I only know you from the replays. I guess geeked is a good term. Today, you're going to get access to your proprietary materials, our manuals, our primary, intermediate, and advanced manual. I'm going to help you out with some math right now. If you went to our website right now and wanted to buy these manuals, I just want the manuals. You're going to pay $197. I reread these things every once in a while to brush up. Wait a minute. Hold on, Wiz. The manuals are $197. It's $97 a month. So wait, I save $100. I made $100. Yes. This is what my marketing folks call the irresistible offer. Throw in the manuals, man. They're $197 for only $97 for the trading service, folks. So here's what you're going to get. Access to our brief every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, the app and email alerts. I still send out an email for the old folks like me. After this brief is over, I'm going to paste the trades into an email and blast it out. The manuals and the Ready Room. I just showed you the Ready Room, the Trade Alerts thread, and the Ready Room thread. Now, Bob, what's this? 37 grand. Goose, what's that? 23,800. Chuck, whatever. I'll skip some of the case studies. If you want to keep kicking the tires, $97, folks. Okay, I just gave you the link. $97 a month. I strongly recommend you do the annual. Everybody who starts kicking the tires with a monthly membership ends up emailing me in a couple of weeks and says, okay, upgrade me into the no kidding annual so I can save some money. Okay. Yeah, we can just email us and we'll put you in the annual. But if you want to keep kicking the tires, you can do it. Okay. Now, I feel like the Flex Seal Tape guy, right? But wait, there's more. There is absolutely more. And if you don't do this, you're a fool. What's the more? Just like on Amazon, when you check out, would you also like to do this? I'm going to do that to you. Yes, the answer is it's only $297 for Options Weapons School training. I technically could charge a couple $1,000. First of all, because it's quality, and second of all, because of what other idiots out there are charging for their training. I throw it in there, man. It's $290. I need to be paid for my time. It's called Options Weapons School. Okay, OWS. We take a building block approach. Look at this. Look at this. Wiz, I'm clueless, man. I barely hung with you today. Well, you're still here. Options session 1. Where do I gather my intel? What are some investing basics? Tactical trade planning. It's not until session 2 do I even start talking about options, man. Session 2, basic calls and puts. Then we take the building block approach. Okay. Options Weapons School 7, synthetic stock. It's a longer brief of what I just gave you. Deeper dive than what you just got. People watch these things over and over and over again because the next time they watch them, they pick something else up. The next time they watch them, they pick something else up. So again, $297, folks, is an effing steal for the training. Do it. Okay. Newest live trading service. All the other briefs, if you wanted to sushi them up and wanted to do primary or AR, they're about $167 a month, folks. This is our gateway drug. $970 for a year or $97 for a month. It's $97 a month for the rest of your life. We don't do any 97 and it's 20 grand next month. It's $97 until you upgrade, which is it's a disgusting steal. Okay. If you just want to do options weapon school, you're an existing solo member and didn't do the training, let me give you the link. Options weapon school right here. It's $297. So if you're in solo right now and you didn't do what I told you to do when you joined, there's the link. Exactly, Mike. Do options weapon school. So Zoom user. That is the link you need to use if you're an existing member to get access to the training. Okay. All the trainings listed all over there on the right. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to start taking some questions and stuff like that. So before I start taking questions, folks, if you didn't learn anything today, I clearly failed, but you should have learned at least this. Simplify your trading cockpit. Do you got 33 names, 10 names, 15 names? Simplify your trading cockpit with Amazon or XLY if you want to diversify. Does everybody understand this? Real wealth comes through concentration, not diversification. And as some of the case studies I showed you, man, our members here at Top Gun Options print money on Amazon. Now, if you were here during when the panicins were running around and people were telling us we're all going to die, the trade war is going to kill us, do you remember all these idiots? Look at the Wall Street Journal today. Where's my journal article? The U.S. economy is regaining its swagger. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I remember the Wall Street Journal for the past 4 months saying we're going to have a massive recession. Inflation is going to be raging. Bear market. None of those things happen. Consumers are spending again after the spring's tariff chill. Oh, when you see the words consumers are spending, you better buy Amazon with both hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I told my members down here to sell the wife and kids, mortgage the house, and buy Amazon at $150. Ladies and gentlemen, look at Amazon. Okay. We are going to rip to record highs. So look at it. Look at what it's just doing now. It's bouncing consistently off that 20-day moving average. This is like when I was home from school as a kid, sick, watching The Price is Right with my crackers and ginger ale, watching The Mountain Climber, the yodeler. Amazon ain't going to fall off the cliff, though. It's going to keep going up and to the right. Okay. Amazon pulls back. Oh, my God, Wiz, earnings miss. We'll pound it into the dirt. Remember that long-term bullish synthetic stock position all the way out into the future? I almost wish you could take a little yellow sticky and cover it up on your trading account. Don't look at that thing. If you're selling short calls against it each week, you can look at it. But that thing's sitting over here. You're gonna learn as the week goes on that I got ships deployed, man. I got my JP Morgan, my Amazon, long-term bullish synthetic stock trades in the background. You're gonna see a bullish on America trade tomorrow. Let me get current TGO members, tell the potential new people how your bullish on America trade is looking. I love hearing this, especially today. How is your bullish on America trade looking? Okay. In our model portfolio, let me show you this one, my Amazon trade over here at the synthetic stock. This synthetic stock in this account is up, what, 28%, $2,300. Where is my bullish? Here's my bullish on America trade from 2 months ago. Month ago? 2 months ago. 26%, 10 grand. We're going to cover a new bullish on America trade tomorrow. Look at these people. 40%, 128, 190 Brent. Wow. Okay. Unbelievable. Thank you for writing that, Celia. I've been a member for years, and I still watch an OWS session every once in a while. I love seeing that, man. 293%, Rich. Well done. Tom, up 48% in 4 weeks. Deb, up 78%. That makes my heart smile. So, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow in our free full throttle training, starting tomorrow, remember, solo Amazon today is not part of the rest of the week. I'm going to show you a new bullish on America trade. Okay. We're going to cover a lot of stuff tomorrow, but look at the S&P 500. I told you, and let me let me brief the new members. Never use the word never. You use the word never in this case. Never be 100% fully invested in equities, ever. Always keep 25 to 50% of your powder in cash. Why? Because it's on your screen. The TGO, if you were 100% equities, I guarantee you got margin calls, you had to sell shit, and you lost money. Fail. Fix it. Learn those lessons. What did I tell people? This is when I started pulling a bunch of my cash off the sideline and bought. When Bill Ackman was crying and we need help and trade, the Bill Ackman cry indicator. Whenever the guy gets on CNBC and cries, the market turns around. You need to keep 25 to 50% of your powder dry at all times in cash. 100% cash. Sits there. When do you use it? There. We will have in the future a pullback, another bear market, a 20% pullback. On what? I don't know. Another scandemic, war, the midterm elect. Trump gets shellacked in the midterms. Democrats take the House, more impeachment proceedings, more Elon Musk subpoena, mass hysteria. I guarantee you the market's going to pull back. But over time, ladies and gentlemen, guess what direction the market goes? Up and to the right. Period. That's why we have bullish America trade. Okay. I'm going to take a deep dive into that because it is free money. This is a couple months trade, 1 month trade. Somebody's up that much in a little bit. That's fantastic. It's so funny where people were frothing at the mouth about the meltdown, the recent meltdown. Anybody remember this? There's the look at the top right of my slide. That's the meltdown these people were freaking out about. Now, I chose this time period because 1991 is when I started investing as a young ensign at Naval Air Station Key West. What has the market done since I was a young ensign? It's gone up and to the right. Do we have freakouts? Yep. And every freakout has been a buying opportunity. Now, we might get a freakout that it is not a buying opportunity. And I'm going to be honest with you, between us ladies, it's getting closer. The way the European countries look at us, we have defaulted on our debt. We're $37 trillion in debt. Love or hate Donald Trump. He just drove us deeper into debt. Don't get me started. So our paper is not worth our money's not worth the paper it's printed on. Don't get me started. But this is a game, folks. Everybody in the Hamptons, at Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the elites in Washington, they all need stocks to move up and to the right. So barring something horrific from happening, we're going to keep moving up and to the right. It's science. Aaron, can we ask questions in the commentary section on trade setups? Absolutely, Aaron. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. If I get an alert, Aaron, if you're like, hey, Wiz, I don't know how this thing's working here, shoot me a post that and I answer that. Okay, absolutely. The answer is yes. Okay. Donna, thanks. Can I do the school now and take the focus time? I love that question. Absolutely, Donna. Anybody out there who's like, you know what? I just wanted to get smart. Absolutely, man. It's $297 a month. Let me give you the link to that. You can just take the options weapon school if you're interested. Absolutely. And I'm out of mind med. I said it earlier. Yep. I sold my mind med. Okay. So, all right, guys, 11:11. We just passed it. We are on the right path. Hopefully everybody woke up this morning full of gratitude. You got internet, you got running water, you got maybe a loved one or a pet. Man, I am grateful for this. I'm grateful for you. I love doing this. If I didn't have you all, I'd be doing this on my own. I'd actually be gone. I would have shot a couple snipers and left and gone to the beach for the day. But I love doing this. I'm very passionate about what I do. My biggest metric of success is you emailing me soon and go, Wiz, listen to me. You don't go to Top Gun for your career, right? You go to Top Gun. We call it going to the mountain. You go to the mountain, you get your flowing robes, you get your Top Gun patch, you go back to the fleet and you teach others. So my biggest metric of success is getting an email from you someday in the future that says, Wiz, I'm good. I send me my Top Gun patch. I will. You know what's cool? Most people come back. They come for the trades, they come for the commentary, and they come for the private equity investments and stuff like that. So even people that end up leaving end up coming back because they're like, you know what? We missed you. So any other questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways, PR because it hit my profit target. Mike, I come for the rants. I sold MindMed because it was up a couple 100%. I'm going to get back into it. I'm looking at that right now. We'll talk about this in AR, guys. Accelerated retirement. I sold MindMed because why would you sell something, PR? The immediate answer is what? Because it hit my profit target. If I can make a couple 100% on some call options, I'm going to close them. If I like the name, I'm going to get back into further dated ones. So PR, I'm buying more MindMed. I didn't sell MindMed because it's bad. I sold it to take profits. I'm probably going to reattack out here, man, with some Jan 27s. That's what I'm going to do. So, my God, look at these. Look at the pricing. Look at the Jan 27 20 strikes. Look how, folks, the psychedelics, I'm in solo Amazon, but I'm talking about psychedelics. Look at the, holy crap. A couple months ago, folks, when we bought those September 8s, they were like pennies. I love this. So we're going to talk about this Wednesday. I don't want to take my solo Amazon thunder, but look at this shit. Look at the potential upside call buying, man, in MindMed out to Jan 27. Look at the open interest, baby. Buy this with both hands, folks. The psychedelic space is exploding, right? Here's the headline, all you need to know. The Maha movement. Whoops. The Maha movement loves psychedelics. Should Wall Street? Yes. All right, guys, any other questions on solo Amazon? Here's how nice of a guy I am. Once you pay $297 for Options Weapons School, you get that for infinity. You have access to that. And you know what the better deal is? If I do a new bunch of those, maybe sometime in the fall, you get access to those too. You're welcome. So great question. You pay $297 for the training. You keep the access and I'll give you fresher training. You're welcome. Denada, Donna. All right, guys. Any other questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways. Somebody putting their trade in there. Okay, good stuff. So tomorrow I'll get the replay posted. Here's the replay page one more time. On this page right now is the last replay, so don't watch it. Okay. What's this thought on this trade? I can't look at that, man. If you're a member, you can put that trade in the member area and I can take a look and review it. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm running late and I got to go. Another reason why you got to join, get access to our teams here. Again, post that trade in your Amazon trade alerts and we will, I can take a look at it there. Okay. All right, guys, I got to go. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Bullish on America trade. This trade prints money. You can potentially make 6 figures in the years ahead for a minimal investment today. If SPX moves up and to the right, which I just showed you, it will. Unless, God forbid, something really, really bad happens. And guess what? Even if something really, really bad happens, I'm going to make money. I make more money when really, really bad happens, to be honest with you. I don't like that for America and my fellow Americans, but when that shit happens, we destroy it. Back here, we were trading bearish double verticals, and when the market turned, bullish double verticals on the S&P 500. We had $15,000, $20,000 trades at various times. So I like blood in the streets. As an investor, I don't like blood in the streets for my fellow Americans who don't know what they're doing. All right, guys, I got to go. God bless. Fights on. Namaste. The replay will be posted here shortly. And I'll see you tomorrow when we kick off officially free full throttle training with the primary live trade brief. All right, cheers, fights on, and I'll see you tomorrow.